I am sharing the stream. It's live. I guarantee you that.
Can they hear you saying all this stuff?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's hearing me. I just can't. It's the craziest thing. Okay, so here's what I was going to do. Try and get on this.
You got to get this squared away.
Check this out. No! Today we're having Awakened Saint in the hot seat. I'm trying this for an intro because I'm doing it on the free thing, y'all. I can't get the. I haven't. It's expensive. It's crazy. Okay, so we're back to you, and let me stop sharing the screen, and people can see us. Hopefully, everybody's out there in the chat room. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I don't know if y'all could see that or not. And Awakened Saint is with us today from Saudi Arabia. He's not from there, but we're going to find that out in our questions. I don't know if Doc is in the house. If he's in here, he was keeping up with the numbers yesterday, so we can see maybe somebody can help us keep up with our questions, because today we're doing 21 questions. So, yes, it says we're good and we're live. And you are what? This doesn't count as your question.
Oh man. Okay. There's one. I'm counting all the questions you asked that aren't the questions. There's one false question.
I'm writing them down. Here we go. Number one. This don't count though. I want to know, what time is it over there where you're at, so that people understand what you're going through just to be here and talk to us today.
It's 2:40 a.m.
2:40 a.m. Bless your heart. Now you had to work today too, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
What's your happy Sabbath, if you will? How are you?
Happy Sabbath to you, into the room.
Into the room, yeah. Let me do a real quick shout out here, brother, and then we'll get right into this. Okay, Jesus Freak Computer Geeks in the house. Michelangelo's in the house. And I get to do all these extra little buttons here too. But I'm reading the Water Above, Moment to Moment in Him, Data Junkie, Susan Havens, Truth Puzzle Life. Oh my gosh, Sparky OG or Sparky Odd, Carla Red Pills in the house and Armored Up. I'll try and catch you on the next shout out if I hadn't got you yet. Angels and Dragons 777's in the house also. That's awesome. So I want to say welcome to all of you. Wake up. I got to keep him awake, y'all. We got to get him talking.
I can't yawn. Everybody can see it.
Right. So it's time to get you into the hot seat for sure. So here we go. We're going to start this off with welcome everybody to the hot seat. And we have Awakened Saint. So we're awesome. That's awesome. You're awesome. Here we go. Brother, would you start by telling the folks first why in the world you're here? Why are you on YouTube at all? How did that come to be? And that is your number one question. It's
that is a question. I'm writing it down.
It's number one right there.
Number one. Why am I here? Because I said I'd be here.
Yeah. How did
Next
you
question.
No, we're not doing that. 5 minutes later and the show's over, folks.
So we got to do compound answers. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to know really what brought you to the YouTube world.
An equal exchange, is it? Okay. Well, YouTube itself. Well, curiosity brought me to YouTube, like a lot of people, I think, and boredom, that kind of stuff. But starting off with actually participating in YouTube, it started on the Paul Adams channel. I don't know if he's in the room or not, but started with Paul Adams. I was watching other channels, but the religious aspect of it, he was running, what was he doing? Like a 4-hour a night show or something like that. And I would go in his chat room, met a lot of people in there. And then I already had the message to do something at that point, but I didn't know what it was. We'll talk about that later, maybe if you ask. I don't know. but yeah. So I think I went on live with Paul Adams a couple of times, and after that, he kind of trickled off and stopped doing it, and then I started doing it on my own, and it kind of went from there. I did a couple live shows, starting off with Fizzy Pop and We Are Dust, and then it just trickled into just me and We Are Dust for the longest time, and bringing guests on and spreading the message of Jesus Christ, because that's where the truth is.
Now, they're saying, some people are saying in the room, that they are not getting a picture.
What do you mean?
There was a few in the room says they've got it's good to put a face. So yeah, they're getting a picture. Okay. So
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just making sure they were in the chat room. Some of them were saying they were. I guess they're buffing or whatever their connection is. So
yeah.
So let me ask you this. Now this is number 2. For
Man, this is going quick. I like it
already. The number 2. So because we do want to get in, I'm going to ask you some personal questions about your life and where you're at and that kind of thing. But since we're talking about how you came to be on YouTube with meeting Photohelix, meeting Paul Adams, you also came there for a purpose. I mean, what drew you to Paul Adams? Were you just YouTubing and surfing the net, or was there something going on there?
Well, Paul Adams can see the Mandela effect, and that's the attraction there. You know, you can't find that hardly anywhere. And I subscribe to the fact that I think we all see it. We just don't all believe we see it or want to see it. And he was preaching on it, and that was like, I mean, that was fascinating. I mean, I watched him behind the scenes for a little bit to see if he was a fake, you know, because you see a lot of that. And I mean, he proved to really be who he was. So I just kind of joined in, started saying hi in the chat, and go from there. You know, did I answer that, or that it is?
You did.
Early in the morning.
That's number 2, and it's 2 a.m. there, so 2:30 a.m. So yeah, bless your heart. Have you had any sleep? That doesn't count as a question, by the way.
like an hour, but my daughter kept texting me, and you know, I mean, I'm running a family from over here too, so I got all kinds of stuff going on.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
We'll get back to the Mandela effect and stuff in a few minutes, because I know you say that's sort of what you were searching for, but so that people can know, because this is the first time a lot of people are seeing your face. And
I've gone live on my channel a couple of times with my camera. It's just my internet hasn't been fast enough. But I've actually, if you dig into the channel, you can find pictures of me, and you can actually find me on video just like this, sort of. But
okay,
haven't done it a whole lot.
So, what is it that with your situation that you're over there in Saudi Arabia right now, and your family's over stateside? I don't know how much you want to share on the Photohelix hot seat, but we're going to dig. So do you care to share the state? Well, obviously, I mentioned Texas, so we know that. You don't have to get the specifics, but you have a wife and children that are living there, and here you are halfway across the world.
I'm all the way across the world.
So what has put you in that situation? Let people know. Just tell a little small testimony, if you will. I'll count this as number 3, but just tell us about, you know, I'm trying to get you to talk, because I'm always the one talking. But tell us about, you know, you're a veteran. You've done a 25-year stint with the Army. You can
27 actually, but
27, and you can fly Black Hawk helicopters. You're a pilot right now, even. And that's what you did in the military. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would. Like, you know, you're from Texas. You go in the military. You end up doing a pilot. Did you always want to be a pilot? Those kinds of things. Tell us a little bit about your background and what your situation is right now before I get into the hot seat.
Man, I'm in the hot seat. What are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Well, I'll give you a once over. I mean, we're talking. I'm 47, so there's a lot of history. I can't tell you every little thing. We don't have enough time. But I'll give you a once over, and then you can follow up if anybody has questions, or if you want to go deeper into it. So I'll start in the beginning from the military up till now. Right? That's what you want? I'll give you that. And
let me ask you this too, just so I know. Are you able to see the chat room as well on the screen?
Yeah, it says, have you seen the true Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia?
That's a question, brother. I got to count that.
Is that a question?
It is a question. We take questions from the audience here. I really
do you want me to answer that now, or do you want me to do the history thing?
Well, I do want to hear the history, but now you done it. If you hadn't read the question out loud, we could have came back to it. But now you're in Saudi Arabia, they want to know, have you seen the Mount Sinai? Let's go ahead and make that number 3.
I haven't seen that. So there's that. I mean, I can't really say much than no, I haven't.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So
I've seen some cool stuff, but not that.
I'll count the Mount Sinai as
Jeez.
that's one of the audience questions. Okay. So anyway, tell us about your life and how you got from Texas to where you're at.
All right. Well, you said that I always want to be a pilot or think I was going to be a pilot or something like that. I do remember a long time ago, I was a little kid playing in the backyard and I saw a plane flying over. I may have told you this story. I don't remember, but I saw a plane flying over and I looked at it and I said, I'm going to be a pilot someday. And that was just as a little kid. I did that. And then a lot of life experience happened from that point on where it looked like there'd be no way I could be a pilot. You know, there's tons of things happened. I actually entered the Army, enlisted, and that's not a way to be a pilot. You know, I was 9 years enlisted before I went to flight school, and I found out as a test parachutist that I could put in a flight packet, and I did. I put an application in and got accepted. Went to flight school, and I ended up, from learning how to fly Blackhawks before I retired, I was teaching how to fly Blackhawks. So I guess that's progression, right? So I was doing that. I taught for a while. I been to Iraq 3 times, Afghanistan 1 time, all as a medevac pilot. And that's, I mean, there's some history behind that. I knew when it was time in flight school, you can kind of, without going into details on how flight school works, because we could talk hours on that, but you can choose your aircraft. And a lot of times your aircraft will lead you into the mission you choose. And I even thought to myself, a little bit of forethought back then, not seeing Mandela effect or anything. I knew if I pick Apaches, I'm going to be blowing things up and killing people. And I thought to myself, you know what? Number one, there's not much of a civilian aspect to that. You know, how do I get a job saying I've done that? And number two, with all the different politicians and whatnot, I don't want that on my conscience that I may be ordered to do something that's not good. So I thought, how do I get this pilot job and still be clean conscience no matter what happens? I picked medevac. So I was a medevac pilot, and I did plenty of medevac missions, and we save everybody in the medevac. So my conscience is clean completely, even knowing what I know now, if that makes any sense. So I did that, and then I retired. I was up in Alaska, Fort Wainwright, when I retired. Right around that time, I interviewed for the job I'm with. It's with a private company. I don't have permission to mention their name, so if you ask, I won't tell you because I don't want to be fired. But it's really nice. It's a really nice company, and they pay well. They do 56 on, 28 day off type of deal, which is really good because not many jobs will give you a month off every 3 months, you know, with full pay. So that's one of the reasons I do it. But I fly the S-92 now. S-92 helicopter. Don't fly Blackhawks anymore. And the S-92's 68 feet long, and you could put almost 2 Blackhawks in it. So it's a little bit bigger than what I flew in the Army. And that's why I'm over here. I'm on that contract. So there's that. And I do this YouTube thing. It's the thing I do while I'm over here. So did I answer everything? I don't know. I'm tired. I think I'm trailing off.
I think so. No, that's good. That's good. That's number 4. I'm tired. You want to wrap?
Are we wrapping already? Wow.
We'll wrap now. We can wrap now if you want.
I'm that boring, huh? Okay.
No, that's funny.
I don't want to kill the subs on the
channel.
Well,
let me ask you a question, because Wesley had asked something earlier. When you are flying, you had mentioned on your channel one time that you were looking into chemtrails to see if you could aim, because you're flying at a piece of equipment that's in quite a few $1 million, right? For the helicopters that you work with?
The one we're flying? Well, I don't know exactly what it costs, but if I was to guess, I think probably about 36 million is what they cost.
Okay.
So, yeah, I can't afford one.
So that's the kind of thing that, yeah, right? So that's the thing that you're driving now or piloting.
Yeah, I'm a bus driver.
The equipment that's on that, like forward heat-seeking infrared and all this different military application kind of radar, sonar.
It has radar on it, yeah.
So what is it that you would be able to try and see if you could with the chemtrails about picking up metallics or anything like that? I mean, what is it you were wanting to do? I know that's one of the questions they'd ask in there. So
is that an official question?
That is an official question.
On?
Have you had? Yeah, this is number 5. Have you been able to have any success about actually filming or recording or whatever it is, taking whatever measurements you were going to try and do? I don't know what you were going to do exactly, so I guess you'll have to sort of clarify that for me as well.
Yeah. Okay.
About the chemtrails, what you were,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think chemtrails are real. Is that a question?
That's a statement, brother.
Oh man. Okay.
That was an interrogative.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a point of interest. You know, where do I sit with that? I mean, I'm a pilot, so that should be a little bit profound if I say I see them and I know they're there. But we have a common system on our aircraft called TCAS. It's a traffic avoidance collision system. I'm paraphrasing. You can Google it, but it's a radar system that will, if there's another aircraft around, it'll pick up its signal and it'll tell me exactly where it is, if it's coming towards me, away from me, if it's above me, below me. It's basically to keep us from hitting each other, and we all have it, you know. I mean, some of the more advanced aircraft have a thing called MCAS, and that system will actually move the aircraft if it's getting ready to hit another aircraft without the pilot's input. And that's an interesting thing to know about with other things I've looked into. That's another subject. But the weird thing is, or fascinating thing is, ever since I said I was going to look into this chemtrail thing, I also applied the praying at the sky technique that I learned from the video I watched on Jesus Freak Computer Geeks channel. And I've been doing that every day, and I haven't seen chemtrails since around here. So I can't use this system on an aircraft that I never see, you know, and I don't know, is it still happening and I just can't see it, or I'm just not seeing it. So I haven't been able to employ what I wanted to do. Sorry. I mean, I'm not going to make something up and say I saw it.
Right.
You know?
Right. But that is something that you're going to continue investigating, right? It was asking in the chat room, so I wanted to clarify that. Alone One asked in the chat room, Photohelix, ask Awakened Saint, other than having Christ in your life, and that's something else I wanted to touch on when we get there. This will be number 6, if you're keeping up. Other than having Christ in your life, what do you feel is your greatest achievement and also your biggest regret? That's a 2-part question, but it only counts as one.
Greatest achievement.
Besides having Christ in your life, what is your greatest achievement and also your biggest regret? So it's a 2-fold thing. That's a big one.
Well, I would say the greatest achievement would be to have multiple kids look up to me, you know, to be somebody they can look up to, and have a beautiful, loving wife that is totally supportive of me. You know, that's an achievement there. I don't know how to really go much more into that. You know, I mean, that's kind of speaks for itself. And regrets are tied right into Christ. You know, you should not regret if you understand who Jesus Christ is. Because I went through this whole thing. I saw the Mandela effect. I knew reality. I knew reality is shifting. And I thought for a while, I was like, man, if I knew this 20 years ago, if I knew this 40 years ago, my whole life would be different. And then I finally came to the realization, you know what? This is God's world. He created this. If he wanted me to see this when I was 4, I would have saw it when I was 4. I saw it when he wanted me to see it. And I know what I know when he wants me to know it. And that's, so regret, well, I don't think regret's a good thing to have. So I choose not to have that because of Jesus Christ. Those two things tie together. Does that make any sense?
Yep, big time.
That's where I am. So I'm sorry to let you down on. I regret I don't have regrets. There you go. How about that?
At first, when you said, well, regrets, I thought you were going to start singing, well, regrets, I've had a few.
Well, if there wasn't Jesus in my life, I would have plenty of regrets, you know. But
so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
I went ahead and marked down on 21 here. So you're a spiritual kind of guy, not so much a religious fella, I don't think, but definitely a spiritual person. You definitely have a connection with God and with Christ, I think. Tell us about how that came to be prior, because you come to that knowledge before these effects, or were the effects what brought you there? So you can expound on that however you want, but bring us to that point where, when and where did you come to realize what you know about God? And then we'll go from there. So this is number 6 or 7.
Oh, I think it's 6
number
or 7.
6. Well, we're going to say number 6.
Go 6.
You said 6. You said 6 first. I got to go with a good instinct.
I don't care. I'm asleep right now, I think. So when did you gave me a compound question, and it's 2 in the morning, it's 3 in the morning. So you said, when did I become spiritual?
Well, not spiritual. You said that if it wasn't for Christ in your life,
right,
and having Jesus there and coming to that, I'm asking, when did you come to that knowledge? When did you accept Christ as your Savior? When did you start your walk with God? Did you do this after you started seeing these quantum manipulations, or was this before? What I mean, you see where I'm at?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, it's a complex answer. So
it's a complex question. Go for it.
There you go. Yeah, we're together on that. So when did I accepted Jesus on multiple occasions and at different levels, because while along the way, as I was accepting him, I was learning who he actually was. So, I grew up, I'm not a guy that grew up not seeing the Bible and not seeing religion, because I was originally my family was Protestant. My wife got divorced, or I'm tired, guys. My mom got divorced and remarried to a Catholic gentleman, and I was Catholic for a while. But I brought the Bible knowledge in to the Catholic Church with me, knowing that you can read the Bible, because I grew up with a Bible in the living room where you can read it, and it was read every now and then. Not a lot, we weren't like the Flanderses or anything like that. We're common. My dad built Black Hawk engines, believe it or not. That's what his job. He worked at GE, and he built Black Hawk engines.
So you were destined to be in the air, right?
Well, I didn't know about it, because back then it was a new system, and it was a top secret thing he wasn't allowed to talk about. He wasn't allowed to talk about what he was doing. I found out later, after he passed away, that he was building Black Hawk engines. That's what he was doing. So that's kind of neat. But so I knew Jesus. I mean, I knew of Jesus, and I knew right from wrong, and those type of things. And then I went through a period of time when I thought going to church and reading the Bible and all that was just worthless. It was a waste of time. And that was with when I was actually married to my first wife. She actually brought me back into church because we weren't going to church at all. And I was like, it's just a waste of time. What are you doing? We can get 2 days off if we don't go to church, and she'd want to go Sunday and Wednesday. She was one of those people. And at that time I thought getting close to God, well, yeah, going to church is getting close to God. That's the definition of it. That's what I thought. I didn't know. I didn't know any better. And, and my first wife died in a car accident. And that was my first step, where I realized what she was doing made sense. Because when she passed on, I don't know if that whole quantum effect thing is real. Your heart's attached to the person you're with. And when she passed on, for a second, I could almost feel what she felt, and it wasn't bad whatsoever. And that was my first meeting with Jesus. And then I knew something is more to this whole thing. I knew something was far greater than just going to church and reading a book. You know what I mean? So there was that. And then from that point on, I went into got to find the right church mode. And man, is that impossible, because there's always something wrong. You're always going to find, no matter how good the church is, and I'm good friends with our local pastor. And I mean, you could pick apart anything in any church. You really could. So what you get out of church, in my opinion, it's a pep rally for the ball game. The ball game's important, and that's where we are right now. Every day you're in the game. And when you want to cheer for God and those type of things and meet other people that are in the game, that's church, So church isn't bad. It can be bad. It's what you make out of it. So not going to church is not a bad thing, but not speaking to God daily is bad, in Jesus' name. That's bad to do. So, and then noticing the Mandela effect. So at that point, there was a little bit of time there where, I noticed reality itself is shifting around. Now I knew of supernatural stuff. I grew up in a house where supernatural things happened. I've had lots of life loss before I even went into the military. I knew of life loss and those type of things, but I didn't know you could look at something and the very next day it'd be something totally different. And that's what I learned with the Mandela effect. And then at that point, I had, I think about, I don't really know, but it was probably 2 or 3 weeks where I didn't know what was going on. I was like, is this whole God thing, was I lied to? Was I feeling something wrong? And then I decided to ask God. I prayed and asked, what is going on? And then I received a dream on what the Mandela effect was. And it's on my channel. It's called My Mandela Effect Story. And it highlights another loss I had in my life because my daughter died of cancer. And that was happening right around the time I noticed the Mandela effect. So I had a whole lot going on all at once. So when I realized what it was, then the next thing is, what do I do with it? So that was my highest level, I think, at this point of my relationship with Jesus, because I know he's real and I know he knows what we're doing. So now how do we help people that don't know? That's what I'm working on. I'm working on that.
That's question number 7, actually, and because I still want to talk about what you're on that track there. But since you said, what do we do to help others? That was actually a question that posted with Carla Redpill had asked to ask you, how do you, knowing what you know at this point, which is sort of jumping ahead of us, but we'll get the question, just knowing what you know, you don't have to express what that is necessarily, but how do you go about trying to tell a loved one about your experience with Christ and that kind of thing? If there's somebody that you love that doesn't know God or doesn't have a relationship with Christ or doesn't believe those things, how do you go about trying to explain to them that truth?
What, Jesus Christ truth?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking with my loved ones?
I think that's what she was asking.
Well, I don't have any family members that don't know who Jesus Christ is. And that's very fortunate. I don't have to explain that part of it. I have to, the Mandela effect's another story. I mean, and they all see it. That's the funny thing. Like a lot of them bring things up to me and don't realize what they're bringing up. And then when it's pointed out, they do the whole, oh yeah, maybe it was the other thing, that they don't do the whole download thing, because then later on I'll get again, hey, this is this and this is different. So, but I don't have the unfortunate circumstance of a direct family member not being a follower of Jesus Christ. They all have their level of relationship with him, and it's like the truth community. It's levels of waking up. And it really is that. I mean, the whole raise your right hand, I accept Jesus and move on. I don't really think that's a thing. I mean, I think that's what I was taught, and a lot of us were. If you say a prayer, and you could say words, and if you don't know what the words even are when you're saying them, it's a relationship. Am I to look at this question?
Yeah, Paul Adams.
Graveyard shift live streams. Hey, make it. Well, when you tune in late,
right? We already talked about him, and he's coming in late. That don't count as a question.
I refer Paul Adams to the beginning of the show.
Yeah, right.
Because we already covered that.
That's awesome.
Talking circles.
Okay, so let's see.
Yeah.
People are just asking different things. I wanted to go back a little bit deeper, since this is question number 8. I know it seems like it's not got very far, but I think question number 8 is a good place to be with this. I think we're here. How do you feel in the hot seat? That don't count, but how do you feel in the hot seat? Are you good? Are you waking up a little?
Well, I don't know. I can't tell. I'm really tired.
You look good, man.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
You got good hair, I
got good hair. Well, yeah. Well, you know what they say about a bald barber, right?
I don't know.
Don't trust them with your hair. So I don't know if I have good hair. You're telling me I have good
hair. I'm not a barber though, right?
Oh, but you're bald, so I don't know if I have good hair now.
Man, listen, you're wearing that headset and it looks so good. Mine, it won't come down. Somebody mentioned that and they said it looks like I've got a handle on my head, like a head handle.
It's like a bowling ball bag.
It does, with a bowling ball in it. Yeah, it just won't go down this part won't go. The little inside part does, but it's comfortable. I mean, I have to
That
say
looks
that
comfortable.
my wife got them for me, so it's really
Oh, that's
comfortable.
good. Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I'm ready to go flying now. We go fly.
No,
helicopter.
that headset won't work.
Yeah, I have to get the
I'll get you
sticks
one.
going.
You got to get a better headset than that.
So anyway, you had talked about that you had lost your first wife, and that's not the only death in your family. I know this for a fact. And I don't mean to put you in the hot seat, but you're in the
I'm in the
hot
hot
seat.
seat.
So
Yeah.
there you go. And so sometimes I do get a little personal. Interestingly enough, I've had a few people on here share loved ones they've lost or had bad experiences with for whatever the reason. But you lost someone really dear, and if you could share a little more about that, you know what I'm talking about with your daughter. Would you care to share that?
As in what? I don't know what you mean.
Well, how and again, I don't want to open wounds. You can say plead the fifth and I'll slide by. You get at least one, maybe two questions you can pass, but just remember, if you pass this one, it's going to get harder as we go.
Well, the thing with my daughter is talking about it is still a very sore subject with the family. Right. So out of respect to my family, I don't really want to talk too much about her. So that I'm just kind of, we miss her, and I understand where she is. I 100% understand where she is. So I'm not worried about seeing her again, and I know my wife's not worried about seeing her again.
And this just happened not too long ago, didn't it?
It happened. Let's see, what year is it now? Yeah, 5 years ago.
Okay.
It was 5 years ago. So, yeah, it's still very, very much a rough subject around the family. I mean, we don't all talk about it a whole lot. You know, the challenging thing with it is, I know I'm going to see her again, but making sure everybody else is going to see her again. You know what I mean? Because you get angry. There's anger towards God with that. You have that in the family. I mean, we can get into some of that kind of stuff. I mean, what kind of God does this? That type of stuff. Why do good things happen to bad people?
See, you're headed right the way I was headed, brother. Because I want to know how you've dealt with this. Because
I know
I've not experienced it to such an expanse as you have with that. You know, I mean, I know I've lost my dad. It was my best friend. And I've lost different ones, but this, you know, to lose someone that's special to you, I know that's a touchy subject. I know that, but you're in the hot seat. That's what I'm doing. Is I want to touch on those things because I want to know how you've dealt with it or how you're dealing with it, because that's not even something that doesn't go away. For those that say it goes away or you forget with time, you never forget. I think
no, not a child. Absolutely not.
No, never. And it may get a little easier from time to time if you've got a shoulder to cry on or a God to lean on and that kind of thing. And so, and there's other people now in my viewing audience that, and maybe even strangers that might see this that are experiencing these things, and they are asking those very questions. Well, how would God allow such things as he has? And in your situation in particular, did you get angry with God? Did you blame him at first? Did you quit for a while? Or
if you can, question.
This is number 8.
All right.
Because we're still touching on that number 8, but it's now compounded. So it's the way I cheat and get extra questions in.
Oh, you snuck another one in on there. Okay. Well, I saw in the chat rooms, I watched the chat room. I saw Jay Hood saying there's no good person, right? And that's a good point. There are no good people, no, not one, but they're ready people.
That's right.
Think about that. So she was ready. That's the good part about it. Absolutely 100% ready. Okay. And I had a conversation with her before she passed on, and that's private, but she's ready. She was ready, totally ready. And why does it happen to good people in our concept? Why do you see people that are ready go before the people that aren't ready? How about that? And I've seen it all the time. I've seen it within my own loved ones, my own family, because God wants us all to make it. And that's the proof of that. the people that are having trouble and the people that are having challenges tend to live longer. You know, it's like, why do these angry people live longer? Because they have to, because they're not ready. And that's why. And that's really my concept with that. So I don't take offense towards God for taking somebody that's ready. My first wife, she was completely ready. And that was my test to notice that. Because I was like, why did this happen? Well, and then I looked back at everything she was doing. I'm like, well, she was ready to go. I wasn't ready. Absolutely, I wasn't at all. I was making fun of her for going to church. Yeah, that's what I was doing. So I didn't have any of that with this event because I had already learned before it. But if I didn't have the things before that, then I may have. You know, there are family members that are having trouble with it, and that's why I'm not going too deep into it. But yeah, there's ready and there's not ready. How about that?
So how, again, I don't want you to think that you're going to slide by that easy. I know there's ready, and then with the people that have gone, my question really is more how you, as a human being, as a dad, has experienced these things with that loss, how you dealt with it concerning God. Did you automatically, I know her being ready gives you that comfort, and a lot of people don't have that in their lives. They don't know, but that's what I'm asking. What do you think? What is your perspective of that? I know that we're told that God will fill his kingdom with the children. And when we think about how we are as adults sometimes in our lives, I understand that sometimes, you know, I wonder if any of us are ever going to make it, right? Because we fall daily. But
Sure.
we know how God is righteous and true and holy and just. And when you went through these things in your life, juggling your career and juggling your family and going through that hardship, because a lot of people who are going through that very same thing or things very similar with the loss of a loved one, and they are automatically griping or angry, especially if you lose a child. And in many cases where they've lost their parents, or it can be siblings, whatever the case may be. As a man of God, were you walking with God at that time, or were you stumbling, or did you quit him, or did you start him? Or, I mean, you know, you had mentioned that you knew him there. Did you get angry during that time? Did you go through those emotions that most people describe?
Not towards God, no, but my experience is a little bit different. I mean, you know about the refining and fire process. At this point, I had already been to war 3 times, actually 4 times. So I've seen plenty of suffering that no one needs to know about. So I've had really good friends, best friends even. You know, one day they're there and the next day they're not there. You know, I've had plenty of that, and I know how to turn that part off while I need to figure things out. And I learned that from that process. So probably if I didn't know to turn that emotional part off and work through it, maybe, I don't know. I was never angry with God. No, absolutely not.
That's awesome.
I mean, I would have liked him to make the decision to keep her here longer, but he has a plan. You know, I'm a piece in a puzzle. So, and I'm not the puzzle creator. I don't create the puzzle, I'm in it. So I can't get angry with God.
That's cool. Okay, so brother, that was number 8. Now I'll give you that one.
That was a big 8.
It was a big 8, but
there was a question in the chat room, but I won't try to make this 9. But somebody asked what my favorite book of the Old Testament was. I think I saw it fly by, and I was trying not to lose your question too.
Do you remember who asked it?
I don't, but the Book of Daniel is the Book of Daniel is my favorite book because Jesus references it and it tells us about the future. It connects to Revelation. So I like the Book of Daniel as my favorite one in the Old Testament. Always has been my favorite one.
I would like to make a note that Carolyn Noon says a verse about wineskins, that she doesn't believe the scriptures can be changed as far as the ink on paper. I would just say this. There's residue upon residue upon residue, and most every person, whether Catholic or Protestant, has been to a funeral and said the Lord's Prayer. And they usually use the word or the chapter of Matthew. Even the First Lady of the President, currently sitting now in one of her opening speeches, used the Lord's Prayer. And in that Lord's Prayer, they said, on earth, not in earth. And it said, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Those words were so important that Christ, after he said amen in that prayer, went on to explain why he used the word trespasses by saying, for if we forgive not our brothers their trespasses, God will not forgive us ours. And so the point is he clarified why he used trespasses in that very scripture. But now that very scripture in every Bible, in every translation, says, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. That used to be like that in the book of Luke. There's only 2 places for the Lord's Prayer. In the book of Luke, it says, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. But now it says, forgive us our sins as we forgive our debtors. So those two don't even go together necessarily. And over there where it said trespasses, it now says debts and debtors. I taught my daughter out of my Bible right here. And this Bible is marked through and through. I've had it for years and years and years. I got my first Bible when I was 8. I taught her out of this one, the Lord's Prayer. And guess what? On the very same pages, it doesn't say that now. So you believe what you want. And I do pray this. Whoever you are that might see this, if you don't have eyes to see, if you don't see the changes, remember this. If you're a Christian, you believe that Christ can walk on the water. You believe that Christ is going to resurrect the dead. If you believe these kinds of supernatural things, then how come it's such a hard stretch? If you really believe the scripture, it tells you these things are going to take place. Get in there and study and read and ask God. If you can't see, ask God, he'll show you. Okay, so that was a little interjection there. We're on question number 9.
I have an answer for her too.
There you go. Spit it out. That's a good address.
The Bible itself warns that it's going to be changed. In Revelation, it says that if you change this book, or those that change this book are doomed to have the what's this? I'm tired, man. But you have the plagues that are from within the book. You're going to receive them, right?
That's
so right. God's the creator of everything. He knew the Bible would be manipulated when he inspired it to be written. Right? Why would that even be in there? Number 1. That's the first piece. That's the first clue. Here's another clue. Amos 8, 11, and 12 says that there will come a famine where there won't be any word at all. It's going to be worse. It'll get worse than, ink can't change. It'll get, I refer you back to my dream where I open up a Bible with blank pages in it. Think about this. Think about it. And their names removed from the book of life. Yeah, absolutely, Data Junkie. So you don't want to be the ones involved in changing this thing. No, you don't want to be that person. And I can refer a little bit the funny story with how I even noticed the Bible changes, because there was this crazy guy on YouTube saying that wineskins, and this is how I took it because I was passively watching YouTube at the time. I saw this crazy guy saying wineskins was in the Bible. That's what I kept hearing. And I was like, yes, silly, wineskins has always been in the Bible. Who is this guy thinking that's a change? Because I thought the message that this guy was saying was wineskins has been put in the Bible. And I'm like, it's always said wineskins. And I had to watch Photohelix video 3 times before I actually noticed because he started pointing and his book said bottles in it. And I was like, this guy literally, I was like, he really likes his YouTube channel. He went out and made a fake book. He had bottles put in a page. Because then I opened up my childhood Bible that I know had wineskins in it. I grew up with that Bible, and wineskins wasn't in that Bible. And I'm like, well, no. And then I opened up another Bible. Wineskins wasn't in that Bible. And I went through 3 different ones, and I went, oh, okay. Now I had to watch the video, and I said, man, I got to actually pay attention to this video. Because he's not telling me that wineskins was put in the Bible. He's saying it's not in there. It's just, so yeah, it's changing. So that's a good example of either not being willing to look at it or not being able to see it. I don't know where she's at with that, but yeah.
Okay, I wanted to say to Nobody's Thoughts, yes, I do remember the poem. I don't remember it by heart, obviously, but I remember you reading, and me and him talked one night. We probably went 10 hours straight. I do that a lot with people that I'm long-winded. It takes me that long just to get one sentence out. This is question number 9. No, number 10. This will be question number 10 that we're getting ready to touch on. Yes, you're almost halfway there. Almost, because we don't want to forget the bonus round. Paul Adams said, John, Photohelix, brother, to look up one of the last comments. This thing is rolling fast, so keeping up with the comments, y'all have to bear with me. I'm not that good. Henry Vargas says, my favorite book in the Bible is the Holy. I like that. Many rooms in God's house. Love this room. Jerry Runt. And Belinda Brubaker saying, yep, wineskins, and I'm nobody. My personal Bible's changed, according to Michelle Spiritually Awakened 2019 Perez. Can you say that one real fast, brother? Don't count the question, by the way.
The name real fast? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. I am so far behind. Oh, my goodness, y'all. I was trying to go back and find that one that I had missed. Abba's Girl says, I love you all. Let's see. Once again, there it is. Photohelix, Awakened Saint, your dream to your knowledge. How has it affected those who have seen your video you did on it? Your dream. So let's talk about that. Your dream.
Is that a question?
Well, we're going to make it one. Before you talk about how it's affected, I want the people to hear about that dream and how that came to be, where you were at. Give us the whole setup,
Oh,
and then share the dream with us so that we're all walking through it. Be a storyteller here and really take us into it. I want to know where you were at. Were you at home or at work, or where you had it? What time of day? Was it a daytime or a nighttime? All that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I had sent at the time I was talking with this channel name that went by Latina for Christ, and she was somebody I met on Paul Adams' channel, and she made videos, and I wasn't making videos at that time, so I gave her my story, and she made the story that's on my channel called My Mandela Effect Story. She put that together, and that was all scripted by me. I gave her the script. Now she screwed some stuff up. Okay, so when you apply, so it is good that I'm describing it, because when you apply Hollywood to things, which is that, she made it, that's kind of the Hollywood aspect of it. She made it a little bit spookier in spots where it wasn't, and that type of stuff. But when I prayed about what was going on, I actually, probably my third or fourth time I prayed, because I asked multiple times. It wasn't just one time and then, God's not answering me. I kept asking. And then I was actually training to fly the S-92. I was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and I went to sleep one night, and I had a dream, and it was very, very vivid dream. I woke up from this thing, and I don't usually remember dreams, and I can remember every bit of this one right now still, so I could tell you the story, and I can tell you the things that are wrong with how she put the video together. But in this dream, I'm walking up to a lighthouse. Now in the video, it's at night, but in my dream, it was in the daytime, and that's my fault. I didn't put that in the script. I didn't write night and day in the script, so she followed what I gave her. But it was in the daytime. And I walked up to this lighthouse, right? And there was an opening. There was no door. And I walked right in. And there was a staircase, the twirling staircase that goes all the way to the top. And it was just lit up from illumination. Like there was no lights. It was just lit up from an unknown source. It was really, it's hard to describe. So I walked up to the top of this thing, and there's a Bible at the top with a golden cross on it. That's the size of the Bible. And it wasn't, the important part to point out, it's not a Bible I've ever seen before. It wasn't like a family Bible or anything I've never seen this Bible before. And I opened it, and it was blank. All the pages were blank. And I scrolled through it, and they just were all blank. I was trying to find anything. And as I was doing it, I heard a growl behind me, maybe a demon. I don't know. I didn't turn around and look at it, but I heard a loud growl behind me. And then I said, uh-oh, but the way she expressed it in the video is like I went, uh-oh, but I was actually taunting the demon in my dream. And it was like a vivid dream where I thought I was there. And yes, I was taunting a demon. I'm a soldier. So, but I also knew it probably would have got me. So I ran from it, but I did taunt it as I did it. It's kind of like enjoy your victory with one freaking eye kind of thing, So if I go down, I'm going to poke him in the eye as I do it. So this thing's chasing me down the stairs, and I feel it swinging at me and trying to get me. And then I run out the door. And right when I ran out the door, I flew out of bed at the same time. And then I was done searching. I knew what the Mandela effect was. Like, boom, that's what the Mandela effect is. Now try to convince everybody. It's like, now enjoy yourself, And boy, it's not fun, and it's not fun trying to convince people with this thing. Believe me, you get all kinds, But that's the dream. End my answer. Next question. I think I lost photo.
I'm just sitting here rattling on and talking, man. I hit the button while you were talking. I muted it because I was writing.
Mr. Senator, can we move on?
That's funny. I don't care if you're from the old world or the new world, right?
Oh, well, there's
Remember
that.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, but we want to finish that answer because I think you cut me a little short on that one. And here's what I mean.
All right.
You shared it, where and how and when, but I want to know how it affected you.
Oh, yeah, I did go through emotion stuff. Okay.
Yeah, see, I mean, in
well,
that
I mean,
storytelling, we got to have some roller
like during the
coaster.
dream, how I
During
felt.
the dream, how it felt when you woke up. Were you in a cold sweat? Were you freaking out? Were you nervous? Did you go look at your Bible? What'd you do? Was you pointing at the thing going, it's wineskins?
No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that at all. No. So oddly enough, I go through the motion parts of the dream. And it's the military. I may not put motions and stuff, but there was emotions. I saw the lighthouse, and I was kind of like led to it. And it's one of those, I don't know if everybody in here's had a vivid dream, but it's like a dream where you feel like you're there, and I just knew I needed to go into the lighthouse for some reason. And when I walked in, I didn't feel, honestly, wasn't scared at all. I didn't feel anything other than curiosity, And I was walking to the top, and I was thinking, what's gonna happen next? But didn't feel anything other than curiosity. And then at the very top, when I was looking through the Bible and it was blank, I felt scared because I was like, okay, this is not good. It's kind of scary. And then when I heard the growl, I felt angry because I wanted to do something to it, and I knew I couldn't. I think that's, you got to think about who you're talking to. So I always want, if I'm opposed, if I have an enemy that can get around me, I want to do something to it. And that's how I've been trained. But I knew I couldn't. I mean, I knew I was smart enough to know not to turn around. This thing could have got me. So I taunted it and ran from it. And at that point, I wasn't scared. I was just in flight mode, just get away from this thing. And then I woke up into a shocked state, like, wow, God answered me. So I felt not worthy. What's the word I'm thinking of? I felt, I don't know, happy. I was not happy though. What word am I thinking? I'm really tired, guys. I don't know. What's a word that's like worthy but happy but not worthy. I mean, I don't feel worthy, but I can't think of the word. But blessed is a good word.
Blessed would be a perfect word for that. Actually, that's what you just described.
Felt blessed that I felt blessed that he answered me. Because I would have toyed away with my faith the best I could, but thank God he gave me an answer, and then I really pray everybody gets an answer.
Paul Adams had asked or made a point in there. Did you, with this dream, have you heard since it's been posted and since you've shared it, that anybody that's been affected or helped by said dream?
I've gotten probably 6 or 7 emails of people that they enjoyed seeing it and it's helped them. And I think that video has 1,600 views now, so people are watching it.
That's
so
awesome.
It's I don't think it's not in everybody's mindset to tell me directly, and I'm just a messenger. I don't need to hear it. It's not for me to hear. I mean, I really hope that people talk to Jesus Christ on their own and deal with what they find out. Don't answer to me. I can't do anything for you. So you know what I mean? I mean, I can be your friend, but I, look at me. I'm talking on YouTube at 3:30 in the morning. How smart am I?
Well, I get up in the mornings when I come to your show sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, talking to God's way more important than talking to me.
That's a fact.
I hope that's what they're doing.
That's a fact. Not that talking to you is not important or good. I mean, I don't want to say it like that, right? So check this out. Jay Hood asked, why does Jesus of Nazareth instruct others, it's supposed to be a T, to be wise as serpents? What serpents was he referring to? And what has man overlooked so many times? It's a question. He probably has the answer because of the way it's posted. I would imagine he already knows the answer to it, but it's a good question for the public. What does he mean by be wise as serpent and gentle as doves? That's you. That's number 11.
Oh, what? Know when to bite, when not to bite?
Ah,
Man,
you can't get away with that as an ant. Come on.
I don't know. I'm not a preacher, so Jay Hood, you tell me. You know, I'm not a minister. What's Carol Nunn's saying here? That's all. You put another thing on there. Am I supposed to read that? I've memorized Bible verses.
I'm just posting up
okay.
different ones
Yeah.
as you're talking.
I don't know. Walk with a big stick, but don't hit people with it. I don't really. I can't go deeper with it. I'm too tired. I'm sorry.
To be wise as serpents, I think, is to know your enemy, know what they're up to.
Sure.
You know? Yeah. To be wise as serpents, so that you.
It is early in the morning here.
That way, you know the traps that are laid too. You don't fall for those snares. And then, of course, being gentle as does. Once you realize what they're up to, you're going to want to thump them, and you don't want to do that. That's where you have to be gentle as doves. So if you're wise as a serpent, you're going to get angry seeing what all's going on, whether it's chemtrails, New World Order, HARP program, Blue Beam, and all these other blah, 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 blah.
There's plenty floating around out there. Know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
That's right.
Are you sure? What was that one?
Oh, says, are you trying to say the word wheat has changed to corn?
I didn't say the words wheat or corn. Move along.
No, she's talking to somebody. Move along. She's talking to somebody in the chat room, I think. They're having,
all right. I think she's the one that can't see the Bible changes. So
yeah, she can't see them. So
we'll talk in circles if we keep answering those.
So we have eyes to see, and tares get angry when we point it out.
Well, that could be. Yeah, I
can't argue with that. Hey, Truck Stop says he's speaking of our adversary. Know thy enemy. That's the gentle or wise as serpents and gentle as doves. So I'm going to let you slide on that one a little bit. I helped you answer it. I almost should hold that against you for number 11. I mean, we're at the halfway bump.
Know them by their fruits. How about that?
Yeah. So listen, since we are halfway into the questions, sure enough, let me get in here and see if I can't throw some shout out real fast. Try to. Would you like to do it for me? You want to try and do you can see the chat room. Can you see them all? You can do some shout outs.
Look at the participants list.
You can really do it.
A lot of people in here. How many people are in here?
Oh, probably 2.
2. Oh, it looks more like there's more than 2 in here. You got Lone One, Armored Up, Belinda Brubaker, Bradley, Carla Redpill, Carolyn Nunez. We'll search in her Bible changes. CIE. I don't know how to say them. CIE. Damsella, Data Junkie, Deef Bread, Go Kart Bob. That's a neat one. Mm-hmm. Graham's Gold, Grumpy Troll. That's what I saw at the top of that tower. Grumpy Troll, huh?
Waters Above said shout out auctioneer style. So give it to us.
Oh man, I'm too tired. I'm a grumpy troll right now. I like grumpy troll. Henry Vargas, Hill Billy. Jay Hood with the profound "What's Jesus talking about?" questions. James Scrivener, and We Are Dust. I'm here. But we're not down to the W's, but I see We Are Dust. I'm glad she's here. James, I already said him. Jerry Runk, Joe Mama, Michael Angelo, Michelle, Spiritually Awakened, 2019. Perez. No Ways Thoughts. I didn't know what No Ways Thoughts was in here. That's awesome. Paul Adams with the wrench coming into the show late, asking questions that we answered in the beginning of the show. DJ2424, Photohelix, Rocco Donato. That's neat. Royal Forest, Salted Cedar, Saved Sinner, Scott Allen, Sergeant Dog, that I called Sergeant Joe by accident. I'm still sorry about that. Shelley Y, Sister in Christ, Sparky OG, Susan Havens, The Truth Puzzle, Life, Tonette, Truck Stop, Wade Cox, Rascally Wabbit, Waters Above, Wendy McKiernan, and We Are Dust. There's We Are Dust at the bottom. Welcome, everybody.
All right. Awesome. So moving right along, do you have any questions that you want to ask?
Mystery Fried.
Mystery Fried's in the house.
Yeah.
All right, let's grab that one. Mystery Fried. Is it true that a child is technically or biblically exempt till an age of understanding in regards to knowing Christ and going to heaven? I would say check on the link under this video, because it takes you to Awakened Saint. And Awakened Saint, actually, for the last couple of days, he did this very thing about death and what happens after we die and life after death. And he had Brian Stavely on there. And then was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday that you had me on there. So yeah, sure enough, y'all, if you'll check out Awakened Saint, his link's already in the description box. So if you'll right click it and open that tab, you can have it up. So if you're not subscribed to him or following his channel, go check him out. Do you have a Facebook? Do you do Facebook too, or?
No, I don't connect Facebook with this because I use it for my work, my business, two separate entities.
Okay. And Vahid, she was in the chat room. She said she didn't have my email. There it is on the screen. If you look at that right there, there's the email. And so email me. Do you want to give your email out, brother? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat room.
Okay, stick it in the chat room there, and then
I use an email just for this.
There you go. Okay. Hey, he did an email. Applause. Oh man. Well, I want to say thank you for everybody that's come so far, and I hope we can hang in here. It says you a great day for YouTube. Yeah. Oh, so let me ask you about that. Do you use YouTube Messenger? I'm going to count this as one of your questions, actually.
That's an easy one.
Well, okay. Yeah, you got to hear it all the way out. It's a Photohelix question. Ain't no easy one.
YouTube Messenger is going away.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. How does that affect you if you use it at all? Because I don't even use it. But if you use it at all, is that going to affect you, or do you think that's part of this crackdown that we see that the alphabet soups are doing the censorship and some of the things that are going around in the inner tubes out here about censorship and watching? I mean, we know for a fact that Google and YouTube are really censoring and highlighting with algorithms certain words we use, such as Christian or flat earth or chemtrails. All of these words I'm using right now that's going to get this flagged. It's not monetized, so it's okay. So what do you think about that? With them taking that out, do you think that's something?
I don't know how it could be. It's very redundant. We have the Hangouts wasn't taken away, just the link to go live on Hangouts. So we still have Hangouts. There's so many ways to talk still. I mean, it links the channels. If you're trying to like work together, do we miss something? What are you laughing about?
If you see that question to Carla Pill on the screen there, do you see that? Fella Heat's question
is Texas summer. They just go on. Yeah, I know. That's true. So the Messenger. So the answer with, do I use it? Yes, I use it. I'm linked to a lot of channels on it. It's done some good with my channel because I've interacted with Jacob Israel several times on there. That's where he first reached out to me.
Would you believe I talked to him on the phone today? He called me up today. Yeah.
I've never done that. You're way bigger than I am. I'm not that important.
I'm not big, brother. Look at me. I'm a little skinny, bald-headed fella.
Yeah, you have thousands of people. He's connected to me on email, and the way the email chains run on Gmail. I mean, that's just as good as Messenger, because when you email back and forth, like I talk to Richie from Boston on there when he wants to send something, or I ask him something, and you get an answer back almost immediately. So you don't really need that Messenger.
Yeah, you chat up Richie from Boston more than I do, don't you? They asked me. I did.
I don't know how much you talked.
Did you get to see the show that where I interviewed my wife a couple days ago?
Yeah. I saw most of it. I was working, and the thing was 2 hours, and I think I got an hour and 30 minutes into it, so I didn't get to see all of it.
Well, in that, somebody had asked me about what I thought about Richie from Boston, and so that's going to bring me to the next question. So
was that one of my questions?
No,
did I segue myself?
Well, you segued, but we skipped the last one. I didn't count it as a question because I was going.
Ask me a question.
The Messenger I counted as a question.
Oh, okay.
The conversation came off of that.
Yeah,
making fun of my long questions.
All right.
See, the answers become even longer. The longer the question, the better the answer.
I don't think take Messenger away is a big deal. I don't think it's anything to worry about.
I think they're actually upgrading if you look into what they're saying anyway. But I do believe there's a lot of the censorship for sure. A lot of people thought that.
There's plenty of that going on, yeah.
Okay, so PG 2424 is in the house. That's awesome. Okay, so question number 12, brother. That's a good thing.
Man, it's taking a long time. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Is it really? I don't even know what time it is. Are we really out of time?
No, no, no. I just said it's taking a long time. I'm just
7:30.
I'm just slowing it down by saying that. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Seats get hot.
It has been a little bit over an hour. No kidding. It's been right at an hour.
We're good. We'll keep going.
All right. I went 2 hours with the wife, but you know how it is when you're talking to a woman. I didn't say that live. No, that's a joke. I said it because she's in the chat room and she's actually carrying a wrench. If y'all don't know, my wife's in there.
She's going to find a real wrench and go into the studio there.
Yeah, that's funny, though. I tease her all the time because everybody talks about me talking. We joke back and forth. Okay, so with everything that's going on, and we were talking about meeting different people and stuff like that, who would you say in this YouTube world or Facebook? I don't do Facebook. But people that are out there, I don't know how Facebook really, I think it's just more of a listing kind of thing. But as far as
I've only had one YouTube person transfer over to Facebook on me. That's happened.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, with the YouTube world, because that's where everybody's watching this tonight, unless they copy and repost. Now, y'all, you can post these shows if you want to on your Facebook or wherever it is, your Twitters. I don't know how all that works either. I think Twitter's just text. I don't know. But anyway, share.
I agree with Scott Allen. Facebook's awful. I just have to throw that out. I agree with that.
Yeah, FB is awful. Hey, Kathy Cincy.
It's a data collecting machine, Facebook. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Meeting all the people that you meet, who would you say has been an influence to you? Or maybe that you've helped to influence, or whatever the case may be there, people that you've come in contact with and become friends with, or at least acquaintances, because you get a lot of different ones. Are there any shout outs? This is the question. Are there any shout outs you'd like to make in sharing with others?
Shout outs. Okay.
You don't have to say anything about Photohelix at all, because I'm right here with you.
Well, Photohelix is one. There you go. I mean, that's kind of obvious.
He's doing that because he's in the hot seat. He don't know what the next questions are. See?
Oh boy, yeah. So
butter me up.
I don't want to. If I miss somebody, I apologize. But I'll go down the list as far as I can remember. That was a compound question too. You said who influenced me the most. Was that part of it? Or?
No, it doesn't have to be who's the very most that influenced you.
I like the glean thing. Where you glean information.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, so you can get, the different people that you've contacted or been contacted by, talked to, intermingled with, or conversed with, however you want to say that. But who's influenced you in different ways, maybe? People that you look up to or look down at, I don't know, whatever, just who's played a role in your YouTube.
Well, I can name everybody. I can name everybody, and that it's easier to not. Man, I don't want somebody to associate somebody with somebody else. That's the hard thing with that, because there's tons of names and they all have different. I've learned something from every single person that's interacted with me, and that's a true statement. And I've used it for good, in my opinion, because everybody's good in their own eyes, right? And I'm using it well, and that's the case. So I'm trying to do my best to send the message that I believe has to be sent. So, I mean, I've interacted with Scared Performance, Busy Pop, Paul Adams, great channel, Paul Adams there. We Are Dust, absolutely. I mean, that's obvious. If you haven't come to my channel, you'll notice that. She's been a great help and influence. Photohelix. Right, I'm tired, so I'm trying to remember everybody. Rachel Reinstra, she's a good friend. She's become a really awesome friend. She's one of the ones that ventured over to Facebook, so I'm connected to Facebook on that with her, which is actually good, because I think she uses it quite a bit, so it's easier to get a hold of her on there. Ark from Destiny Lab, he's a good friend and a really awesome guy to talk to, and he's on Facebook with me too. So I do try to stay away from Facebook as much as possible, but some people just ventured over there. I don't want to just delete them; they'll take it the wrong way. Heck, Brian recently getting him on the channel and talking with him behind the scenes a little bit. I like his concept of all things reach into one subject, because that parallels with my belief, and I don't know how much that parallels with his belief, but it doesn't talk against my belief. I think it all does connect into one thing. So there's that with that. And man, I'm leaving somebody out. I know I am. You know, Jacob Israel a little bit. He hasn't interjected with me too much. Richie from Boston, I've been a fan for a long time with him. Him coming on and talking on our channel a couple times and interjecting with him back and forth on email here and there. That's been a good help. Who am I leaving out? I'm leaving somebody out, and I don't mean to. We've had a lot of guests on my show, and every one of them's been very helpful. Just being willing to come on, you know, and
Right.
and I encourage that to keep happening. I mean, I think No Way's thoughts, man. Sorry, that's one of them. He's like, then you have the lurkers. Yeah, No Way's thoughts is definitely one of them. I know I'm leaving people out.
Right.
It's
Well,
almost 4 in the morning. I don't mean to leave anybody out.
With all of that said, now.
But wait, you have more. I'm not done because I can
Oh
go through your
my
chat
goodness,
room.
y'all! We're
Well, I
gonna
can go through your chat. I don't want to leave
That's
people
okay.
out.
This is just question number 13. That's okay.
No, but I don't want to leave people
or
out.
no, this is 12. Yeah.
I don't like to leave people out, especially if they're in the chat room. I can catch them. That people have interacted with me directly. So Salted Cedar has a little bit in the past. Belinda Brubaker is very active. I mean, if you want a conversation that's longer than Photohelix, talk to Belinda. I love Belinda. So I mean, she'll talk to you. So Tonette she's come on the show and she's talked with me personally a few times. She's awesome. Let's see here. I don't want to leave. Like I said, there's plenty in here. I can just scroll through the people that are in the chat room. Carla Redpill supports Brian's channel and my channel. She's very supportive when she goes visiting, and that matters, you know. That matters, just not even just talking directly to people. Hey, Deb Jones trolled me and now supports me. That's awesome. So I love her. Yeah, Armored Up came out, and there's 2 Armored Ups. So, and I like both. I love them and like both of them. You have the Armored Up that's now God's Armor, right? That guy. I didn't mean to leave him out. Like I said, if you feel left out, I'm tired and it's very early. But and then you have Armored Up, the female version. She came on the show and talked about SpaceX. She is awesome. Let's see here. Anybody else in here that I'm leaving out? Like, raise your hand if I'm not saying your name.
Did you say Tonette?
I did say Tonette, but yeah, I know
he's just reading the shout outs list, folks.
I know there's a lot in the chat room that's working.
Hey, a Theory of Nothing's in the house too. Awesome.
Okay. So I think, like I said, if I left you out, I'm not doing it on purpose. Did I answer that one thoroughly?
You did, and the one that's on the thing right now says Carla Redpill's a scare performer troll with laughs and tears. It says Grumpy Troll. That's the name of that channel. And what's funny is because you started out saying, "Well, I just woke up. I'm a grumpy troll." So you used their name.
I mentioned scare performance, right? Did I forget?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think I started off saying him. Okay.
So here's the thing now. Question number 13, and you know what they say about 13. I've asked. I'm forgetting who it was I talked to. We were talking about the 13th floor and how they don't use that, and I don't know why, but it seems just
they're really there, but they don't.
Yeah, they are. But it just seems like in the last few weeks I've seen that come to the surface a lot more. I mean, it's been there for a long thing, but anyway, that's not the point. The 13 being that scary, magical, dark, Masonic. I mean, you name the number. You know how people are. People are very superstitious. Which brings me to the question about numbers, and then we'll get back to one of the other questions that was in the chat room about the effects. But numbers and numerology, I think I've asked this with everybody that's been in this, my wife and RFB. What is it about numerology? A lot of people are asking those things, so I want to see your point of view or how you feel about it. Do you think numbers are lucky, or do you the fact that you see 1111 or whatever the case may be? What's the deal with numbers, man? I mean, is it just mathematics, or is it just coincidences, or is it something that talks to you in some way or another? Do you resonate with that? Talk about numerology or lucky 7 or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Well, all things work in the purpose of God, right? You just zoomed in on yourself, by the way. So that's cool.
Trying to get you up there.
Man, that's what I think about numerology. All things work in the purpose of God. So if numbers talk to you, that's what's going to talk to you. Right. For me, when I need to see when I need to understand I'm where I'm supposed to be or guided to something, I see 3, something of a 3 somewhere. Like sometimes I may not even see a 3 in the room. I may turn the TV on and there'll be a sign with a guy holding a 3, and then they'll say next on channel 3 at 3:00, and I'll be like, whoa, okay, there it is. That type of thing. So I'll see that when I need confirmation of something. I hear about people seeing 11:11 all the time, and I've seen it a few times, but I think it was 11 past 11 when I saw it, and that does happen. Happens right before 10, and after that's 12. So I don't know if that means anything for me. I mean, I don't harp on it. I think it can be foolishness to harp on seeing numbers if it's not a message from God, or if it's not something to wake you up. I mean, it can be. I can't question what's waking somebody else up or what's helping somebody else. Everything, there's different things for different people. I don't believe in luck. I believe in the power of God. I don't believe there's such thing as luck. So I think that's a pagan principle that we should distance ourselves from, if at all possible, because there isn't luck. You have the plan of God, and you're in it, whether you like it or not. Here we are. So, I mean, that's really with numbers. I don't think there's one better than the other or one worse than the other. It depends on what you use it for.
Can you see your chat or your screen?
Yeah, a question: is numerology different than gematria? Are they the same thing? I don't do the gematria thing, so I can't help you with it. I don't have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a study of
I know what it is, but I'm not versed on it. I'm not going to make
it doesn't count as your question, but we are moving.
That was a question, though. Come on.
Well, you're lucky number 3. We're good, so we're going to move right on.
I don't believe in luck.
I didn't know if you would expound on it, like maybe you could share, if you would, to take that a little bit further, because I know I want to start wrapping here shortly. But on that number 3, when you're talking to God. So we'll make this question number 14. We'll make it a 2-part here. But when you're talking to God and you get answers, are you hearing verbal, or are you seeing signs? Does he use those numbers? And I'm using it that way so you understand where I'm going, because I know what you've shared with me once upon a time over there on your channel about your numbers. When you're in a certain thing and you're looking for that extra, what's the word we're looking for there? Not confidence, but a surety, I guess. Does that make sense?
Like reassurance?
Confirmation, I guess. Would be
I said the word confirmation. Describing it.
Well, what I'm saying is, can you share an experience? Like when you got over there, you had told me, so that you could tell them, you had told me one time when you got over there at the airport or something, and you looked up and there's major 3. So you share a couple of those so that people get an idea how 3s work.
Show when it happened, that kind of thing.
There you go.
It's happened my entire life. It happened far before I've noticed the Mandela effect. Like I don't want to say before the Mandela effect happened, because that's like describing when has time changed? What time did time change? I think it's ridiculous to try to say when it started. But from a little kid till now, 3's always worked for me for whatever reason. Why, I don't know why, but it's just the thing. He's talking about Photohelix was talking about the airport. So sometimes it's preemptive answers. Like I'm not really asking a question, but I'll get a confirmation that I need to hang on to for later. And that's what the airport thing was. Like I sat down and there was a 3 right in front of me. And then I moved later and there's a 3 on the ramp. And then there's a 3 on a garbage can going by me, because all of them had numbers, and there was like 400 garbage cans in that area of the airport. And I guess the number 3 one decided to roll past me with the janitor. And then that confirmation was I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing, because later on I get it's thoughts. I don't hear voices. So I'm not going to be live saying I hear voices, but I'll pray and I'll have thought guidance, if that makes any sense. Like I'll be guided to think a certain thing. And it happens a lot during like our closing thoughts on my program, where we're doing like final thoughts. I may have nothing to say, and all of a sudden I have a lot to say, but I don't talk just to hear myself talk. If there's nothing to say, I just don't say anything. But that's one. I moved, just recently moving to a different villa out here. I showed up and they moved me to the number 3 villa. and that meant something to me. Like, is that the one I'm supposed to be in? Well, there's a 3 on the door, so kind of helps. I mean, it could have been any. There's so many different numbers. It didn't have to be 3. Could have been any number. So, I mean, it's happened all my life. I mean, you go on and on and on.
Okay, so and one of the, I think it was Waskley Wabbit in the chat room said that God can answer people or show people or work with people in any way he wants to, right? And he knows what it takes to ring our bell. Okay, so we're moving to question number 15. I counted that as 14 as an to touch on the other. But if you'll read the board, Deaf Bread says, why do Saudis wear rings on their head? What's the ring about? And they, Lord of the Rings, sort of a question as a joke as well. Not necessarily a joke, but humor in it. But is a legitimate question. They do wear the ring to hold on their thing. Can you explain why Saudis do that, or even the rings on their hands if they're specific?
Well, I mean, I don't 100%. I have ideas. I don't question their religion. They've been a very good host to me, and they're very nice and friendly people. I would encourage you, if you can ever run into one, to talk to them and meet them. They're nice people. I know there's colors to the rings that refer to families. I know that, like, they're very tribal oriented, like one family to another family type thing. And there's that. There's different like different mosques have different ones and those type of things. It's kind of an affiliation type thing. I don't know if it connects directly towards their religion at all. I don't think that's a thing. I think it literally is to hold the thing on their head, because without it, it would fly away. But it does have, I mean, it has significance, but I don't 100% know. I'd have to Google it like you guys would, So I don't really have anything to go any deeper with that.
Well, you answered even though you didn't have the answer, huh?
I had the answers that I had.
There you go. So, question number 16. Moving right along, folks. See how the second half just flies?
I like it.
Vahid M says, Photohelix, question, extra credit. Did any of your high school friends or college friends walk the same path that you are walking today? And what percentage of your friends are awake to Messiah? That's a big one, bro.
Wow. Well, I would say my path is so unique. That would be, I don't know who could have walked the same path that I walked from high school. No, I don't think so. College. Well, college is a little bit different because I didn't do like college in college. I took most of my college at night while in the military. I did some of it on my own, but most of it while I was still active. So those people were serving with me as we were all doing the college, So, how many friends see Jesus? Was that part of it?
Out of the people, your friends that you went to school with, how many of them have followed the same kind of path as you, and how many of them are aware of the Messiah?
The ones I went to school with, most all of them have not followed my path whatsoever. I went to for most of my high school, I went to a private Catholic high school, and then my senior year, I went to a public school. And I would say, I don't know, the percentage of friends that see Jesus, probably 50%, not a lot, and a whole lot of unfortunately, most all my military friends are non-believers, which is unfortunate, So
okay, to follow through with that, brother. Question number 16. Actually, no, this is question number 17. I'm sorry. Question number 17. Sister in Christ says, can you speak or read Arabic?
I just know simple words, and I can read it with Google Translate. So you can see I really do, because, man, you talk about a paranoid guy. When I first got over here, I was super paranoid. I was scanning everything. I was like, is that saying we're going to cut his head off later? And I was scanning it, and the thing I found over and over again was within their paperwork, like their business paperwork. True statement, guys. And you're not going to get this on the news that's teaching you to hate everybody. But on their paperwork, it gives you God's blessings. It'll say, this is what we want you to do, and may God bless your soul. It literally says that on the paperwork. In their language, you have to scan it. But when you scan it, it gives you the English, and then you can see what it's saying. So I found that to be fascinating, those type of things. But I know simple words that'll get me by, but I don't speak their language. They speak English way better than you guys speak Arabic. I can tell you that. So be careful when you meet one. I know what you're saying.
All right. So does anybody else got? Because I'm getting down. That was number 16 or 17. That was number 17, brother. So you're down to 17.
Easy one.
Yeah, we got 18, 19. They're not all hard, right? They're not all hard. Okay, brother, let me ask you this one. And then if somebody wants to try and throw another question up there, we'll see if we can get maybe one more out of the audience, maybe a couple. I didn't just in wanted my question answered. Belinda, if you'll do it again, I was trying to find it. I've got all these different things going on here. So Belinda, if you'll post your question one more time, we'll put that one up on the board next. Okay. I tried to find it, but
what's this armored up question? What is this? I'm
looking for it. Oh, that's just a comment. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
See, she's making comments. But yeah, if she'll do that. Well, by the response, I gather most will head over to Sarah's live stream, so I will wait. Paul Adams.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what the question was. I missed that part. I'm sorry, y'all. It is hard. Hey, RFB's in the house. This is always supposed to go up. There you go. I'm trying to go up. See, now I'm getting razzed from RFB. Richie's in the house. But
you're killing me, brother. You're killing me, brother.
Right. Shell Y, RFB. That's my wife. She just said hi, RFB. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We're looking for another question here. If Belinda will post that, we'll ask it. RCW says, I have a question. If either one of you have studied about the mud floods and Tartaria, if you have any insights, please elaborate. Thanks. It's a yes or no question. Do you know?
I don't know anything about that.
He hasn't looked into it. I have, but because of the time at this point, and he's the guest, I really want to move forward and get the rest of his questions out. And y'all just cost me a simple question. He don't have anything on it. That was a simple no. So that I'm definitely going to hit him with the bonus round for sure. So we're down on question number 19.
I don't look at every little thing that pops up. I never get to the truth doing stuff like that, but I digress.
Richie from Boston says mud flood is another excuse to deny the flood. Ooh,
and that
wow,
very well could be, but I can't have an opinion if I have.
Andrew Perry says digress. Look at that picture of that baby on his face. Isn't that cute?
That baby digressing. It's lunch.
All right, says okay. So I don't know that one. That's just a comment there. If y'all want to read that. I was looking to try and see if she actually posted her question again. Belinda Brubaker in the house. Maybe not. Matthew Blackman says, Richie. Sparky Ox says, hey, RFB. Save Center says, RFB. Shall I? RFB. Everybody likes RFB.
All right. I'm out of here.
We digress, right? Robin Clark says, hi. Again, I'm looking for Belinda's question. Belinda, I'm not seeing it. There it is. What does Mike think about the tariff? Either way, so I guess we're talking about the trade tariff and that kind of stuff. If you want to get into
which tariff, there's so
trade there. Yeah, I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands. Yeah, definitely thousands of different tariffs. Without just when you just say the tariff, I don't. That would be a hard answer.
Got to expand on that because I don't know what she's talking about.
She's probably talking about where president's talking about putting trade tariffs on all these other countries. And causing them more for the same stuff that's been done, ladies and gentlemen, ever since we had presidents trading with foreign countries. There's always been tariffs back and forth. We pay for them. They pay for them. It's a political playhouse. That's all. It's just business. It's just business. I don't think there's really anything specifically there. But she did ask you, what does Mike think about the tariff? No thoughts. If you say no thoughts, I'll move on and we'll make that not number 19th. But if you do have a thought, I think we just.
I have a thought. It's all scripted. Next question.
Okay, it's China.
What did Brian have? Did he have something?
Yeah. I hit the buttons too fast. Has being in another country and being around. This is from Brian Stavely. Being in another country and being around other religions and beliefs brought you even closer to God and realizing we are all brothers. That's an awesome question.
It has done a lot to remove programming. It does a lot for that. It is actually good to travel if you can, if you have the means and you can see the world. Number one, it'll show you how small the world actually is. Because it is. I mean, it's a big world, but it's small. It's big and small at the same time because we are all of the same God, and we truly are. And we're not the people are not the way you're told they are, if that makes any sense. Because at first I asked, getting my job here, I was like, how dangerous is it to work with those people over there? And everybody I talked to, other Americans, were laughing at me. They're like, what are you doing, Mike, watching the news? And I was like, well, yeah. And they said, well, stop watching the news and get over here. It's a good job. So there's that. Did it get me closer to God? It sure didn't get me further from God. That's for sure. And I mean, they're very godly people over here. They're being brought up in their religion. And it's not the Christian religion, and we understand that as Christians. But there's things moving all through the world. There's a lot of religious stuff. Just for Iraq, for instance, I've flown over the Tower of Babylon. I've flown over that over there. I mean, there's all this stuff to see over here. I've been over the ziggurat of Ur. If anybody knows what that is, I've flown and seen that. I know where the rock that's giving water is. And you used to be able to go there. You're not allowed to go there now. I mean, it's done a lot to get closer to God. And I'd say the biggest thing is removing programming, because we're all taught to hate each other. If you turn on the news, and the thing is, you would think, then this is one thing I was taught in America, that they don't see our news over here. That is total BS, guys. They see our news and they understand and read English. American education. I mean, it's so embarrassing. Because we only know, few of us can speak more than one language. It's very embarrassing. But they have CNN, they have Fox News, they have everything we have. They watch their news and then they watch our news. They actually get a more rounded look at what's going on. And most of them can see it's all BS because they're getting both pictures. And in America, and I'm from Texas, in Texas, I don't see their news, not at all. And I have DirecTV. I can't find their news. And so I'd say they get a little bit more of a rounded view than I do. So yeah, it has helped. It's helped me quite a bit.
And photo stinks. Jeremy Cox.
That's good. This is internet video with no smell-o-vision, so we're okay.
Way more informed than Americans. There's a few people were saying some stuff in there that they had.
I wouldn't say way more informed than Americans. I would say more informed than most Americans. Yeah. So I don't like definitive statements like that. So I don't 100% agree with that, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to make a point. There was a few people. Somebody said something about Greece. Somebody said something about moving around the country to different places and stuff. Jeremy Cox says, but I digress. That's awesome.
Yeah, you stink, but I digress.
Right. Okay, brother. We're down to question number 20 and 21.
All right, and I'm out of here.
We have 2 questions left. We'll wrap them up. I don't want to rush you out, but brother, your time is almost up, and I hope you've made it this well without burning your bottom. It is the hot seat, right? Okay, so if you had it all to do over again, what would be the one thing that you could? Now, I'm not talking about, I know you shared with past losses and things like that and things you're dealing with now. Not talking about those things, because it's appointed unto man wants to die. Everybody has that appointment. But if you could change something in your life, what would be, if you could just, one thing, what would that one thing be? I'm not talking about bringing somebody back. I'm talking about what that you have control over. Would you change? What's the one thing that you would want to change if you could go back and change one thing?
I would say every time I quit at something and then restarted it, I would change that. I mean, there's been plenty of times I've started school and then I take a few months off and then I go back. And I mean, looking back on all that procrastination, I could have got things done so much quicker, So doing what I can do now when I can do it, that's what I would change. Okay. Well, listen, Vahid M., this is going to be your number 21 question. I do get a gold star question because you haven't answered that yet. It's always the one you get one gold star. Why don't you just say 22 questions? Why do you do that? 21 with a bonus round, bro, because a bonus round could go anywhere. I did it with RFB. I did it with Shelly. So I'm doing it with you too. But Vahid M. says, Photohelix, how do Saudi Arabians feel about Iranians? My name is Persian, and I've never been to the Middle East, hence my query. That's Vahid M. Hence my query. I like that.
Nice intellectual conversation there. I like
Yeah,
that.
well, I can say without getting super political, they are programmed just like we are, and they're programmed to hate Iranians. So they very much want to go to war with those guys. And that pretty much wraps that up. Everything we hear is we got to get rid of them,
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. They're definitely pro-American. They're not pro-Iranian. And it goes with a lot of programming, it does. It's unfortunate. And what Caroline Nunez is saying is not 100% correct. It's not 100% a religious issue. It's more of a family issue. But you wouldn't know that unless you're over here. So I can't hold that against her. You get that from the news. That's a news thing. You got to be very careful about forming an opinion from watching propaganda, because that's what the news is. It's propaganda.
That's right.
But the religious thing is not as big a deal as the news is making you think. It's a family issue. The family is what the kingdom is. It's a family name. And there's a whole history on it. You can Google it, and the Google's pretty much what the history is, for the most part. So, yeah, they don't like them.
Oh, go ahead.
No, they don't like them. That's kind of the wrap up.
Okay, so here we go. Your final. And we're going to stick this Awakened Saint in the hot seat. And we're going to put that on a minimal look so that you look real good, because we're going to make you full screen. And everybody watch his face. We're going to ask him the big question. The Mandela effect, the one thing you hadn't talked about today, the quantum effect. This is your gold star. This is your bonus round, bro.
We mentioned it a couple of times.
Well, you touched on it, but we really didn't go into depth. What the question that came up in the chat room earlier on, I think it was from Carla Redpill, if I'm not mistaken. Why do you think these changes have taken place? The molecular level, whether it's Tiananmen Square with the tank man getting hit or not now, or the JFK assassination, 4 in the car, now 6, the Lindbergh baby being found, all of these different things, the Black Tom Island event where the Statue of Liberty, all these historical kinds of things that have taken place and changed, seemingly changing time. What do you think is really taking place, and why? This is a big question. It's your gold star. This will take us out of the show. So this would be even your bonus round is going to be your final thoughts. Even
it's only an hour and a half show. You did good.
Did we do it? Did I keep it in there? I'm trying. No, it's we started about 35. So we're getting close. We may end up pushing to 45 minutes because you got all this time to talk. So there is no time limit. You just talk. Listen to that shit.
Getting.
All right, man. There you go. There is no limit.
Armored Up said, "Get Awakened Saints getting sleepy." I started sleepy on this thing.
Keep hitting the wrong button there.
Yeah. So what is the Mandela effect? Why is history changing and all this other stuff?
What is your opinion? Why do you think this is happening? What is it? Why is it? What's causing it? I mean, just sort of go in depth. Tell us what you think it is and why.
I think there's no lying signs and wonders, Data Junkie said. I believe it's that, of course. I don't think we can 100% know what's causing it, and it's not even really necessary. The big necessary thing is to see it's happening. Number one, I think it's ridiculous to try to find a new one every week and that kind of thing. I mean, once you know what's happening, you need to find out why. You need to go into what is it doing for us, or what is it? You know what I mean? These historical events, I mean, there's tons of stuff. I mean, like going to aviation with the engines are forward of the wings and those type of things. I've heard a lot of stuff about how that's inferior, and it really isn't. I mean, we could do a whole show on that. It's not inferior. It actually is better. And people that say that don't understand wingtip vortices and stuff like that. But it's laws that are being changed, and things that are being. It's sort of like I said in the beginning of this thing. We're in a puzzle, right? And you have a false god who's creating his own picture, and that's what this stuff is. And it's leading to something. We don't know why certain past events have to change, because we don't know what kind of picture this thing is trying to create. We just know that it's inferior because we can see it, right? I mean, you can totally see it. You can look right at it and see the changes happening. That's an inferior being. If you can notice it, there's a lot of us that see it, and that means it's not God. Now I know you have multiple entities, organizations like NASA and those type of things that are lying to us about tons of different things, and they're in on it in some way. And a lot of what I think is a lot of the mainstream things that we get, like the multiverse and all that stuff, it's mainstream pushed to us. So every time something's mainstream pushed, I question it. Like if they say look up, I look down. If they say look left, I look right, because we've been told all these different, like we've been told about the moon landing, and we've been told about, I don't know, you just go on and on and on. Nothing's come out to be true, So, I know a lot of people say CERN's causing the Mandela effect, and they take claim for it. Like there's that video that comes out. They came out with a guy holding the Mandela Bond 1 sign. That's interesting how they did that. And then did they really do what they did, or do they want to take credit for it? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. The important thing is that it's happening. That's the important thing. So where it's leading, we may not need to know. I mean, we know prophecy. I would encourage to get in the Bible while it's not blank pages and find out what happens next. Because if I'm right, what happens next is in that book. So if you're not reading that now, I don't know what to tell you. So I think that's pretty much it. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense.
I can't tell if I'm making sense right now.
You're doing good. Now, here's the thing. When it's a bonus round, brother.
We got 21 more questions.
It's 21 more questions right here. So here we go. This is the one where we just grab randomly, and Brian Staveley's in the house and says,
I agree with what he says, 100%.
Did you read it?
NASA is hiding creation. 100% agree.
NASA is hiding creation. So there you go, folks.
Totally,
so
totally
you don't think we made it to the moon, bro? You don't think we made it, or do you?
I don't know if the moon is something you can make it to. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Have you seen some of these people? Well, RFB even does it, where he's got one of those P900s or P1000, whatever it is, to zoom in on the craters.
Yeah, I wish I had the money to buy one of those things. I looked into that.
Those are nice. Yeah, those are nice.
Cameras, I want one.
I think Scare Performance has got one too.
He needs to do that then. Start filming that stuff.
Yeah, he don't like being on camera.
Well.
So
there's that.
There's that. You don't have to be when you're looking at the moon, but no kidding, man. There's a lot of things going on. Strange signs and wonders, folks. Lying signs and wonders in the heavens.
Absolutely.
And all around. There's a lot of things going on. Brother, I really want to thank you. Am I even on there? I am on the screen. There you go. I want to thank you for sure enough for coming on and being a guest in the hot seat. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Awakened Saint, go over there and check out his channel. The link is in the description. Go down there and give him some thumbs up. Thumb up this, share it. Have your friends watch if you care to. If you don't, well, just walk away from it. Don't have to watch it. As some famous YouTuber says, subscribe or don't. And there's that. So really want to thank you, Awaken, very much for getting up this time in the morning. I know you're exhausted, and it's amazing that you would do that for us, because you're like, it's about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning there now. I guess you've talked all night with us, and you're getting ready to make a trip before too long back to the States. Is that correct? Is your show coming up next week running full, or are you going to be taking off now? Is this your vacation time for the show, or what?
Yeah, I'll do, if I can, God willing, I'll do a show, maybe Sunday, maybe not, but Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for sure. And then after that, I'll be off for that part all the way till the end of September, and I'll come back on. I may do some live pop-ins here and there just to say hi while I'm home, but I'm away from the family, so I gotta go 100% family when I go home. That's what I do.
Okay. Michael, this is not the place. Be respectful to Photo and Scare Up. I don't know what was said, so people's got wrenches. I don't worry about it. I got a lot of good wrench bearers. I want to say thank you to all the people swinging the wrenches and not using or worrying about hard helmets being on. Just knock them out if you have to, if it's a bad thing. If not, hey, look, I've got thick skin. We can handle it. We'll talk to them as long as it's within good taste and stuff and not foolishness, right? Okay, so because I was always told the only bad question is the one you don't ask, right?
Uh-oh.
Maybe. So, with all of that said, again, Wake and Saint, thank you very much. Y'all go check him out. Thank you for tuning in tonight. This has been the Hot Seat with Photohelix. Tune in next time and see who's next, right? We've already got some people we're trying to get lined up for next week. Maybe a woman, maybe a man. We'll see how that works out. Maybe we'll even do a couple. Who knows? I love all of you. And if you need to get a hold of me, I guess I could throw that on there real quick. Let me throw that up there real quick. Bear with me. That's my email on the channel. So if you need to get a hold of me or drop me a line, please do. Any last words, brother, on your way out? I'm getting ready to shut her down.
Yeah, get your Bible out or find somebody's Bible. Read Amos 8, 11, and 12. And I mean, it's 2 verses. Read that. Let that sink in, and read the book of James. Everybody says I don't like religion. Read the book of James. Read the book of James before you decide if you like religion or not, because it tells you what religion is. Read it. Read it while it's still there. If anything, you believe in politics. Some of you in here believe in politics and not the Mandela effect. Politics takes the Bible from you too. So there's that. Read the Bible. Seek truth. Jesus is truth. Seek it. Seek the truth.
Y'all have a wonderful night. Keep us in your prayers. We love you, and take care. Bye.